Hello and welcome everyone to this week's CO2 review. I'm Thomas from COTbase.com. Today we're going to be looking at the 20th Commitments of Traders report of 2019, and as always we shall start off the analysis with COT Change Signals. So our first market is the VIX. There was a huge change in commercial positions and in large speculators. You can see that on the charts here. I would say one of the largest, possibly the second largest change in the past 1 year. Of course, the change is a bearish signal, but you can also find that the market has been declining. So question if this signal will affect the market and push prices even lower. But I will just move on to the 5-year chart to have a chance and analyze the COT Extreme situation. And that's interesting because just 2 weeks ago we were at this all-time bullish extreme. Of course, we can also state that the signal itself was successful, pushing the VIX much higher. And of course, we're not surprised to see traders moving in the opposite direction. Of course, we are far away from bearish extreme levels. The next market we will have a look at is the Japanese yen. We have a 26% change over there in commercials. Huge change, by the way. We are talking about a currency, and such change sizes are considered very, very large. If we look at early this year, from January, we had a large bearish COT change signal just after this rally. Now, again, we can argue that the situation is very similar. We had a rally in the market. We received this bearish COT change signal, and we've actually already started witnessing a bit of a decline happening in the Japanese yen, which from this perspective, we might come to the conclusion that this will continue. Now, if we open the 5-year chart, we get a chance to see the wider perspective. You can see that we are more or less in between the two extremes. So the last extreme, sort of extreme, was this relative bullish one, pushing the market a bit higher. We had a bearish one just here, pushing the market lower. So we're more or less jumping in between these two extremes, but nothing close to all time in either direction. The next market is the cotton market with a 22% change, and in this case we are talking about a bullish COT change signal. We can also see that traders, actually if I open the 5-year chart, it's going to be even more easier to see. Yes, so you can see and find large speculators generally above the zero line. They are generally net long in the market, and commercials, of course, net short. Now, what we witness now with this move in traders' positions is that they've shifted places, meaning large speculators are actually shorting the market and commercials are in long territory. Now, if we look at this 5-year chart, whenever that was the case, you can see that those periods, those time periods coincided with bottoms in the market. And not necessarily that was the case, but here there's a nice example, mid-2017, when they neared the zero line. That was also a good signal for the market. But in this case, and actually from February of this year, you can see that traders shifted places back then, and that was a very good signal at this bottom. And what they're doing now is the exact same situation. So we have a bullish COT change signal, a bullish COT extreme signal. So what better can we ask for from the COT report? So let's move on and have a look at large speculator COT extreme and open soybeans, because we have an all-time extreme over there. And you can see that we have this extreme. Well, it says all-time in large speculators, but you can also see commercials at their all times as well. Well, I would say the picture is pretty obvious. If you look at the market itself, we are at rock bottom, and we have this huge bullish COT extreme suggesting a major shift in the trend. Now, you can also, if you go a bit closer, you can see that the market has started gaining momentum, possibly turning upwards. We will jump over market complexes. Those are for our subscribers. Sorry, we actually talked about cotton, so we will jump over that as well. And our next market will be the Swiss franc with a 36 report extreme. And here we go. Let's start off with the analysis. Again, we are talking about a market that is close to its bottom, and that's the reason why we're not so surprised to see bullish extremes happening, which is, of course, a very, very decent signal suggesting higher prices coming in the medium to long term. But you can also see that markets started shifting higher in the last few weeks. And last but not least, let's open soybean oil, where we have a 34 report extreme in the market in large speculators positions. Of course, we're not surprised to see a very similar picture as in soybeans. And again, picture is very similar, so we are expecting a medium, in the medium to long-term horizon, a shift in the trend and see higher prices coming over here. So for any of you who are interested in a more in-depth and detailed COT analysis, I advise you to check out our service. And here on the left side here in this panel, you can see a lot of great tools that will help you analyze the report. You can go deeper by analyzing multiple COT changes. You can do a more in-depth COT extreme analysis by looking at the COT index, the move index. Of course, analyzing the long-term trend could be valuable, and of course, the volume and open interest analysis is something that we advise as well. So I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much for being with me this week, and I hope to see you next week as well. Have a great weekend. Take care. Goodbye.